Tensura X Gate. Thus the JSDF fought their XHDARHRTK by Noru-Sensei. Rimuru Pav. It was already 18 years after the Great Tenma War. The cardinal world was at peace and harmony. There are some foolish humans who would still commit a crime, but Carrera and Ultima took care of that. 18 years since I have become a woman, I have noticed a lot of things. One example would be, I sometimes find myself easily to be irritated for no reason. Who I have set example. It was Veldora, who is now my youngest brother. I still can't believe it, that old man became my youngest brother. Let's get back to the story. I was currently enjoying my break at my usual place. The view of Tempest drastically changed for these last 18 years. You could say that Tempest had become more advanced now than on Earth. Rimuru-sama. Someone called. As I looked behind me, the one who called me was Dino. It was surprisingly rare that Dino himself would come here. Sup Dino? I asked him. Well, I would like to report something. He said as he seemed scared to approach me. Don't be that much scared Dino-kun. You still haven't managed that for 18 years. I asked him. Well, I can't be so casually to my true creator now, right? He pointed out. You are a bit casual to be honest. I told him. My apologies Rimuru-sama. Dino immediately bowed his head. Aside from that, what kind of report do you want to tell me? I asked him as I changed the subject. Hi. One of the angels you have sent to scout that certain Godslayer had just returned to report something. He said. Apparently they want to report this to you directly. Dino added. Now for those who might be confused right now, let me explain. Ever since I got evolved as the true deity, I became the very origin of every race and would be called as mother. I myself wasn't really fondled by this logic, but I soon got used to it. As for the angels, I had all angels under my command ever since then. I got the whole information about the other multiverse that had existed. One of those are the supreme god's hatred towards me. They said to their creations that I'm the evil god. Hence that one particular god sends its godslayer towards the cardinal world. As for my apparent status, all of those under me had gotten way stronger. Diablo, Benimaru, Guy, Testarossa, Zejin, Geld, Xian, Hikuro, Sue, Velzard, Veldora, and Ramirez had evolved into the same level of supreme deity level. Some evolved into the level of lower gods like Gabiru, Carrera, Ultima, Misery, Rain, Dino, Soka, Rigurd, Rigyur, etc. But let's get back to the topic. Apparently one of the angels I have sent to check on that godslayer that would apparently slay me. That deemed impossible for Master to be slayed by a mere godslayer. After all, Master is the Omniverse itself. Seal said in the cheerfully. Hi, but this seems to be a good opportunity to test the gifts they have received. I said to Seal. They want it to report it directly, huh? Alright then, we'll go to the Heavenly Boodi's Void Palace. I said as I teleported and bring Dino to the destination. As we arrived to the Heavenly Boodi's Void Palace, I then went inside to the throne room to see an angel kneeling in front. Dino then proceeds to kneel beside the angel as I went in front of them and sat on the throne. Now then, what's the report? I asked the angel in front of me. Alright, the report I would like to give, your absolute gracious goddess. The angel in front of me said. 2 would like to say that the Godslayer is on his way towards to the cardinal world with the plan to eliminate your gracious goddess. The angel said as he bows. I see, good work. You may leave. I told him. That would be my highest honor to serve you again, my gracious goddess. The angel said as he bows and left. It seems that the Godslayer is on its way and will arrive in about an hour. I muttered as I used open double angle bracket omniversal sense. Let's go back to Tempest now, Dino. I said as I dragged him again with me back to Tempest. As we got back to Tempest, I then teleported myself to the meeting room. I ordered Dino to tell to the highest ranking executives to be called now. Of course that would include Guy. I don't want myself to tell it to him, so I called over Misery. You called, Okasama. Misery said as she teleported in front of me as she bows her head. Go grab Guy back in the Leon's territory and call him over. I ordered. It will be done at once, Okasama. Misery said as she bows, then she vanished from my sight. Guy Pav. Just when are you going to leave at my territory, Guy? Leon said with his cold voice as usual. What? It's just have been few hours since I arrived here, I said with my usual playful voice. I don't care. Just leave after finishing your 38th tea this day, he said with his usual irritated voice. How cold of you, Leon. I said that I could transform into my female form, but you don't seem to like it, I said. Don't screw around, guy, he said coldly. As I said so many times that don't swing that way, he added. I then approached him and gave him a hug as I said. Look at you being cold, how nice, I said as I was about to kiss him. But then I felt a slight disturbance in space. Then someone very familiar appeared right in front of us. It was Misery, my former maid. Greetings, Guy, Leon. Misery made a slight bow. Tisk. What a good way to ruin my fun. Just what that mother of mine wants. I thought to myself as I hold my irritation. Guy, you are being called by Okasama. Go to Tempest right now, we're holding an important meeting. Misery said in her usual professional voice. Che. Fine, I said. Oh, is that a complaint I hear? Misery asked as she looks at me with a sharp look. Guy, don't forget that if you disobey Okasama, or even complain, you'll know what will happen, right? She reminded me sharply. I know. Well then Leon, I'll leave for now, I said as I took a glance at him before waving my hand. Please don't come back, Guy, he said coldly. And also, tell Rimuru that I overwon. Leon said towards Misery. I will at once. Now then, we will take our leave. Misery then slightly bows her head and dragged me with open double angle bracket teleporto that mother of mine's meeting room. Godslayer Pav. I'm currently on my way to that evil goddess world. My god told me that she is currently living in the world called Cardinal. You don't have to know my name. After I defeat this evil goddess then I would introduce myself. Small time skip. As I entered into the location where that evil goddess called Rimuru Tempest was currently staying, I was overwhelmed with the sight I just saw. It was a very advanced city that I had never seen before. From the very tall structures to lights. But then that changed into a beautiful forest. Did I got teleported by her? I thought to myself as I looked again to the surroundings. Then I heard a voice. Kufufufufufu, it seems that you are the infamous Godslayer that Okasama said just few minutes ago. The demon with black hair with streaks of red and gold, as well as golden eyes with black sclerae said. A demon. I muttered it out loud. Fufu, not quite. Maybe you could look more deeply. A tall alluring demon with waist-long white hair and crimson red eyes said. I did what she said. No way. A devil supreme god. It seems like you had found out about their status. A young woman-looking demon with shoulder-length blonde hair and blue eyes said. Hee. Although Carrera and I were just a level below, we're still strong, you know. A petite-looking demon with middle-length purple hair tied into a side ponytail, as well as purple fingernails said. Nay Diablo, Okasama said we can deal whatever we want, right? The demon who seems to have the name Carrera asked the first demon. No, it's the devil supreme god. Kufufufu, I suppose Okasama had said that. The devil supreme god named Diablo said as he smirked very wide. Two, don't think I can accomplish the mission of my god giving me. I thought to myself as I saw my arms torn off along with my legs. I was still on couscous, or you can say still alive. Then I felt an unforgettable pain. I then don't remember what happened then. Carrera Pav. That was so boring, that Godslayer died instantly. It was seemed that it was just a mere 0.1 second. It was a googleplex of pain, torture and poison for that lowly Godslayer. It was all thanks to Sealsama's assistance and Okasama's laws in her open double angle bracket imaginary space. After we defeated that lowly Godslayer, I went back to my job as the Chief Justice Officer of the Supreme Court. There's still some foolish lowly humans who commits crimes after all. I'm a little pissed too as Ultima has the opportunity to further torture that Godslayer. Even if it was just a soul and will not go into the reincarnation stage. Still I'm envious. Oh well, I'll wait for my turn to torture it. How dare that threatens Okasama. As Rimuru called all of the officials into the biggest meeting room available in the castle. The 12 Guardian Lords are early as usual. There were also the leaders of other numbers like the Silver numbers, Golden numbers, Isekaijan numbers and Tempest's Holy numbers. Some government officials are present, mainly Rigurd, Rigurd and many more. All other nations that were already a vassal states under Tempest were also present. Their first agenda, which was all about the military operation named Operation Starmine, was already finished talking. Hence the vassal states, and the other lower government officials of Tempest are now present to the second agenda of this meeting. Rimuru, who took a short break from the meeting, was now enjoying her black tea with cranberry cake. Together with her were Shuna, Chloe, Shizu, Hinata, Shirori, Olivia Veildstorm, and Claudia Jung, who is currently with her drinking tea, cakes and sweets. Olivia Veildstorm, known as the God of Death, hero of Furnist Kingdom whom Tempest was allied with before the war with a svelte empire with its ambition to unite the continent of Duvaderia. Its emperor, Ramza, had declared war on the kingdom of Furnist few years ago. Its king, Alphonse Sem Galmond, refused to request an aid from Tempest, since he knew that Tempest's leader was not an ordinary chancellor and now queen but also its secret founding goddess. As the war progressed and it was not looking good for the kingdom, he was about to contact Tempest to request an aid, then Olivia came volunteered as their soldier. It had been more than 2 years since Olivia came into the kingdom's side. Now she is serving as a major general in the royal army. She was the 8th Legion's commanding general. Her aide, Lieutenant Colonel Claudia Jung, was serving as the second in command. They were currently here in Tempest as to negotiate the date when will Tempest's reinforcements to them will leave at Tempest to arrive on the same day at Furnist. This was originally requested by Furnest's Field Marshal, Cornelius Vim Graining, to Alphonse, the king. They had some arguments about this, but in the end the king had no choice but to agree on Cornelius' proposal. In the kingdom, the only ones who knew Tempest's existence and alliance before the Emergency War Council were King Alphonse, Field Marshal Cornelius, General Paul von Balza, and now after the Emergency War Council with the addition of Major General Olivia Veildstorm, Lieutenant Colonel Claudia Jung, and the rest who were present at the time. Before Olivia came here to Tempest, a war council was called by King Alphonse together with Field Marshal Cornelius. The ones present at this meeting was the king, the Field Marshal, General Paul von Balza of the 7th Legion, Major General Olivia Veildstorm of the 8th Legion, Lieutenant Colonel Claudia Jung, aide of the 8th Legion's commander and its vice-commander, Major Ashton Zienfielder, strategist of the 8th Legion, General Blood Enfield of the 2nd Legion, Lieutenant General Sarah Sun Riviere of the 6th Legion, General Lambert von Garcia, deputy commander of the 1st Legion, and Brigadier General Neinhard Blanche. The agenda of their meeting was to either send Major General Olivia to request an aid of troops from their certain ally. Of course, this will be the first time that all of the Legion commanders except Cornelius and Paul at the time. Flashback. Before Olivia's arrival to Tempest. At the War Council. 3rd POV. With the Emergency War Council at hand, each of the every Legion commanders came to the Leticia Castle at the kingdom capital. They have not known what was the emergency was yet, so they came with haste. Olivia, meanwhile, she just came back from their first battle against North Priscilla, 12th city of the United City-States of Sutherland. It was an astonishing victory for Olivia's action as the 8th Legion's general. The citizens of the kingdom were gladly to hear the news of the newly formed 8th Legion's victory against the unforeseen invader. As Oliva, Claudia and Ashton had arrived, they stated their names and went inside. Cornelius Vim Graining POV. Now that everyone is here, Cornelius proceed with today's meeting agenda. His Majesty Alphonse said. I then cleared my throat and began to speak. I thank you to make haste to come at the capital for this emergency war council. I know very well we're in the middle of war against the Empire. Without further ado, the meeting's agenda would be. It's either you agree to send Major General Olivia Veildstorm, as a negotiator and representative of the kingdom to our allied nation and great friend. I said sternly as I looked at their reactions. Your Majesty, if may I ask? Said Lambert. His Majesty nods. If I were to remember, we had no allies at the moment. May we know who is this great ally and great friend of ours? That would be the nation called the Queendom of Tempest on the other side of the great ocean. I answered his question. I had never heard of this nation, Lord Marshal. Said Sarah. Is that the nation I heard so much from the Lord Marshal? He asked. Yes, it was keen to be kept as a secret though. I said. Then if may I voice this. Why would the Lord Marshal just mention this to us at the very late of the war? We just had planned for Major General Olivia's 8th Legion and General Blood's 2nd Legion to move forward and invade the Imperial lands. Especially we had discussed in the last war council that we will have the 8th Legion to capture Ulstead, the Imperial's capital. Lambert raised his opinion. It relates to that plan, Deputy Commander Lambert. I said. What would the Lord Marshal mean? It means, we're going to secure an absolute victory against the Imperials if we had their aid. Not that I doubt Major General Olivia's capability as a commander and as a warrior. We would want less casualties, am I right? I asked to them. But as Lord Marshal knows, we would need Major General Olivia if ever some nations under the Empire to invade. What would we do if that happens when the Major General is gone? Asked Lambert. There's no need to worry about that. A voice said. Then we all looked to Major General Olivia. If that were to happen, I would let Ashton to temporarily take command of the 8th Legion while I'm gone. She said. We'll live to mean Major General Olivia. Major Ashton said in surprise. Ashton, if ever something happens, you'll know what to do with them, right? Major General Olivia asked. Well, I know, but you can't just make me as the temporary commander as there. He protested to her. Ashton is funny, you can be just fine. Second Lieutenant Gauss, Captain Luke and the others got your back. She stated. Ahem. Major General Olivia's aide cleared her throat. General, this isn't the time to argue with Major Ashton. His Majesty the King, Lord Marshal and other Legion generals are currently present. Please show some manners, she added. I don't see it as a problem, Lieutenant Colonel. His Majesty said. The plan of Field Marshal Cornelius shall be delayed until the time of Tempest's reinforcements arrives. For now Major General Olivia and her aide will go to Tempest to negotiate. This will be an absolute order from me. Any more objections? His Majesty asked. Your Majesty, if you delay Operation the Twin Lion at dawn, the enemy will have time to recover their losses and our ally from the far holy land of Mykia will suffer some losses. Lambert raised his concern. There is no need to worry about that, Lambert. I said. The holy land of Mykia hasn't been at war with the Empire at the moment. For now the Empire has its focus onto us, the bigger threat. I added. Lambert then took a seat as he looks at the table and just nods. Clearly giving us his approval. Any more objections? I asked. I have no more objections, said Paul. And the rest had agreed. Olivia Veilstorm Pav. As the meeting concluded, Claudia, Ashton and I were heading to Field Marshal Cornelius' workroom in Leticia Castle. I'm getting hungry, I said. My lady, please save your appetite for later. Cornelius-sama had said to go ahead towards his workroom, said Claudia. You look pale, Ashton. And whose fault is it? He asked. There's nothing wrong from what I said earlier. Also Ashton, cheer up for a bit. We'll have some sweets later from Grandpa Cornelius. I said cheerfully. Please don't address the Lord Marshal like that, General, said Ashton. As we arrived we knocked on the door. Major General Olivia, Lieutenant Colonel Claudia, and Major Ashton reporting for duty. I announced. Come in. Then we opened the door and entered inside. As we entered all the three of us gave a salute. Lord Marshal returned the salute. Please have a seat, the Lord Marshal said. Thank you, sir. I enthusiastically said and took a seat. Thank you, sir. Both Claudia and Ashton said as they also took a seat. Both of them are beside me, each taking my left and right side. I really don't understand why Claudia and Ashton are feeling nervous towards Grandpa Cornelius. Then there was another knock was made. General Lambert von Garcia, reporting for duty, sir. General Lambert's voice was heard on the other of the door. Lieutenant General Testarossa, from the Queendom of Tempest's Black Numbers. A unfamiliar voice said. Come in, said Grandpa Cornelius. As the door opens, I saw General Lambert and an unfamiliar woman with waist-long white hair and crimson-red eyes wearing a black military uniform completely different from us. It's good to see you again after 10 years, Lieutenant General Testarossa. Greeted by Grandpa Cornelius. Greetings, Field Marshal Cornelius. It has been that long, isn't it? She said. I assume that the young lady over there who's currently enjoying desserts would be Major General Olivia Veilstorm. She then asked as she looked at me sharply. What is this feeling? I thought to myself as I suddenly stood up and saluted. Claudia did the same as she saw me. Why yes, sir. I'm Major General Olivia Veilstorm, Commander of the 8th Legion, sir. I introduced myself. She smirked as she saluted back to me and said, I'm Lieutenant General Testarossa, one of the commanders in Black Numbers, and Tempest's Mistress of Foreign Affairs Department. Lieutenant General Testarossa introduced herself. To him Lieutenant Colonel Claudia Jung, aide of Major General Olivia Veilstorm and also the Vice Commander of the 8th Legion, sir. Claudia looking tense as she introduced herself. Lieutenant General Testarossa nodded at this. Then we took our seats again. Third Pav. Testarossa began to explain that she was sent by Rimuru herself to pick up both Olivia and Claudia. A few moments later, they went to the portal that Rimuru had made. Then they arrived to Tempest. Both Olivia and Claudia were surprised and amazed to see Tempest. As they arrived in front of the meeting room, they had knocked the door. "Okasama, the guests from the Kingdom of Furnace has arrived," said Testarossa. "Let them in." Rimuru said. As the door opens, Testarossa first came in, followed by Olivia and her aide Claudia. Claudia Jung Pav. As General and I entered, we saw most of the unfamiliar creatures that also shaped similarly to humans. It's just like in those books I read as a child. I then looked at the woman who seated at the center, that must be their ruler. She has a bluish-silver long hair with gold-colored eyes. She was currently wearing a military uniform. Then she was looking at us, especially to Olivia-sama, as if she was a child. Is she looking down on her? I thought, but then I removed those thoughts out of my head. Lord Marshal said that she was our founding goddess. Just how could this be our founding goddess? She's just like older than me in few years. Don't be so stiff. The woman named Rimuru spoke. Please, have a seat. She then points out where my and Major General's seat. Sir, may I ask you a question, sir? Olivia-sama said. What is it, Major General? She asked. Why do I feel the same? No, it's similar but more stronger aura than Zed. Lady. Please don't ask the founding goddess that question. I went beside her and scolded her. It's fine, Lieutenant Colonel. She said. How sharp of you, to answer your question, let's just say I'm Zed's creator. She then declared. My eyes went wide as she said that. I then looked at Olivia-sama to check, but she was there staring at the woman, who then stood up from her seat and slowly walks towards us. The woman then gave a signal. In our military protocol, it means to hold themselves. Why did she suddenly give that signal? But that was answered when the Major General suddenly went for her with her blade, aiming to cut the lady's head off. I then closed my eyes and anticipated that all in the room would gasp in surprise. But that didn't came. I opened my eyes and I was so shocked. That woman in question just stopped the Olivia-sama's sword only by a finger. I can't believe this. I then looked at the Major General. I can see that she was clearly shocked and impressed. Don't be so hasty, my dear, the woman said. Is this how you greet your mother, for the past 16 years, she added. That's not possible. But it is also possible. No, Claudia. This can't be. The general said she can't remember them. Then what the Lord Marshal said was no doubt. In front of me is the founding goddess. Are you that shocked? Well, I can't blame you. I put you first under the care of Zed for the meantime. She said. Look how much you have grown, you have become a splendid, beautiful lady. And it also looks like you are quite strong yourself. Zed had taught you very well. She added. Olivia-sama then dropped on the ground in disbelief as she let go of her sword. The woman, the founding goddess, then crouched in front of the Major General. She placed the sword back to Olivia-sama's hilt and then hugged her. Then for a moment later, the Major General then slowly hugged the founding goddess. Rimuru Pav. As I'm currently hugging Olivia, the world that she was in was made by, of course, me. Correction, Master didn't made this world. But Master's other self. Open black lens bracket. Oh come on, Cielchin. Don't casually call me like that. I was enjoying myself here, close black lens bracket, my other self said. It looks like I really did it still, Seal. I retorted. That was just your imagination. It may be my other self who did it, but in everyone's eyes and thanks to my other self's rewriting she made, it was written that I created them. I said to my partner. But I can alter what she had written, but I said I would take responsibility for it now, so why not? I then added. And other self, what do you mean, enjoying yourself to be exact? Open black lens bracket, you know it, other self, just having a relaxation and of course having your presence with Kazuyakin, close black lens bracket. You really enjoy yourself, don't you? Open black lens bracket. Oh come on, I was waiting for you to come so that you can have these powers back. Plus, I'm just an other self that can rewrite some realities you nor even Veldanava made. Close black lens bracket. Don't say that, you're the one who made it, remember. And I exactly knew now as why. Open black lens bracket. This is enough for a talk. Look, Olivia is slowly hugging you back. Now then I'll be back. Close black lens bracket. Then she left. As I ended the open double angle bracket thought acceleration, Olivia hugged me tight and started to sob for a bit. Are you really my mother? She asked. Yes, I am your mother, Olivia. I then patted her head. Notice. Master doesn't have any biological child yet. Olivia was made thanks to my research without Master's knowledge at the time. I know Seal, but let's make it official, she will be my daughter. Now, I said. Please, have a seat. I added. Rain, will you prepare some snacks for our guests? I requested. At once, Okasama. Rain politely bowed her head and left the room to prepare some meal. Short time skip. Now then, may I ask on Lieutenant Colonel Claudia Young, what is your purpose on visiting Tempest? I asked my daughter's aide. Why yes sir. It's about our King Alphonse Sem Galmond and Lord Marshal Cornelius Vim Graining would like to request aid from you, founding goddess. She asn word. I see, I said as I nod. We will talk about that later on, let's have the meeting first. I added. Everyone nodded in agreement, then we started the meeting. Now then, I will start with Tempest's military protocols during our nation is at war. To my royal guards, the Shikokushu Yamagari will be with me at all times when I'm on the front lines. Black numbers will be in front of the Yamagari. I instructed. Hi, Rimuru-sama, Okasama, they all said. Next, in terms of military positions, I'll be taking the supreme command of all corps. And all divisions. Benimaru will serve as the field marshal. Rigard, you're the prime minister, second highest in internal affairs just after me. I'll authorize you to decide whether to approve or not approve the policies, projects etc. Without needing my final approval. I said. Rimuru-sama, I would think that Geld will be perfect candidate as the field marshal. Said Benimaru. Alright, since I'm the first queen of Tempest. Benimaru, I give you full authority to independently decide a battle plan without consulting me if you deemed it necessary. Of course I may call of the operation if that is deemed as a failure, or at high risk. Geld, you'll be serving as the field marshal. I gave the orders. Understood. Hi. Benimaru and Geld said. The golden numbers, silver numbers, Isakaijan numbers, and Tempest's holy numbers will be on standby during wartime to walk further orders. I stated. They all nodded. Then I further discussed who will be the reserves. It was decided that Geld's second corps, white numbers, Shuna's Horikyasuda pink corps, Tempest's holy numbers, Isakaijan numbers and Dragon faithful. The Angel Legions are all under my command. We have the 1st Angel Legion, which is under command of Dino, 2nd Angel Legion under command of Pico, 3rd Angel Legion under command of Gracia, 4th Legion under command of Obera. We still have some more Angel Legions, but that will be a story for another time. Each of Angel Legions contains angels, archangels, and so on. Highest being Dino and other seraphims. Since Feldway, Michael, and Cornu died, the primordial angels are incomplete. Should I revive them perhaps? Master may revive the individuals open corner bracket Feldway close corner bracket, open corner bracket Michael close corner bracket, and open corner bracket Cornu close corner bracket if Master wishes to, said Seal. I really don't have some personal space, don't I? I sarcastically said. Hey, Seal smirked. Seal, you just said I can revive them, right? Well, you had said that before, back then. I don't feel like it. But no, I might consider that option. I honestly said. Master may alter Feldway and Michael's memories. Seal suggested. I know I can do that, but I wouldn't know about others. I said. Sigh. I'll just ignore her for now. Where was I? Oh yeah, no, it's not going to be a good idea for now. As the meeting came into an end for the first half, I invited Shuna, Chloe, Shizu, Hinata, Shirori, Olivia my daughter, and my daughter's aide Lieutenant Colonel Claudia Young to have some tea and snacks with me onto my personal garden. I ordered Misery, Rain, Ruminas and some other maids to prepare our tea and some cakes that are flavored in strawberry, blueberry, chocolate, mocha, and peach. As we are waiting for the cakes and teas to arrive, Oliva then came and suddenly hugged me. I looked around and there are some jealous looks, but most are happy looks. Are you really my mother? Asked Olivia. Hi, I'm your mother. I just had Zed to watch over you as his task. I answered. She doesn't seem to lie. Claudia thought. Era, of course I'm not lying. Your eyes are pretty good. I said to her via open corner bracket thought communication close corner bracket. She seemed so surprised, then she looked at me, so I gave her a wink. Then our snacks had arrived. We then talked about King Alphonse and their Field Marshal Cornelius, request of aid. Of course I approved, but I had my conditions. That will be a secret for now. Third paw, time skip to present. We have fallen into a trap, said one of the Chinese soldiers. FCK. Just shoot them, one of the commanders ordered. The Chinese soldiers both dressed as civilians and some JSDF forces started shooting at the supposed Japanese civilians, Shizu, General Makishima and Tuatami's men. Of course it didn't hit them thanks to Rimuru's blessings. Shizu starts to charge forward and sliced some Chinese forces in half. Some of the Chinese were scared at the sight. They kept on shooting but it was to luck. The Russians meanwhile, they were also shooting. But some had already contacted their higher-up this message. Start the barrage of missiles and cannons after all of the friendlies are out of the position. As they send that message, both the Chinese forces and Russian forces withdrew from the positions and then the bombardment had begun. Later on after the war, this event will be known as the Communists' first fatal mistake of the war.